We are now moving to the next speaker. She is a leader, an educator, has a copyright for many, many software programs, and she has been starting and running businesses for 11 years. She's 20 now. She started her first company when she was 9. That is amazing. She is a pioneer in the Ethiopian tech scene, and she is here with iCog Labs. Anyone can code Betelhem Dessie. Thank you for my stage is yours.
Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you feeling today? Okay, so my name is Betelhem Dessie. I am a tech educator and entrepreneur. So it wouldn't be fair to start my presentation without giving an introduction about my country. So I come from Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country found in East Africa. So we have a population of around 110 million people, with the second most populated country in Africa. And if most of you know, we are the origin of coffee and the origin of the first intelligent human being. But also besides that, I mean, I'm sure if you've met an Ethiopian before, they would tell you that we were never colonized. And we have a very diverse group of people with over 83 languages. But even beyond that, we have a population of around 70% youth, and is one of the largest growing economies in the world. So, but I am here to talk to you about tech. So, just to give you a brief introduction about the Ethiopian tech scene, as you can see from here, there are different challenges and opportunities, starting from education, policy reforms, even a payment platform. So, for example, I came today to Stockholm, right? Most people would call a taxi, call an Uber, but I couldn't because we don't have access to credit cards or debit cards that work internationally. We have multiple infrastructure problems, but even beyond that, we have multiple opportunities. As I mentioned, we have a population of around 70% young people out of 110 million. We have a lot of problems, starting from electricity, water, education, and others. But then, even having with these kind of problems, things like AI and blockchain are happening to the rest of the world. And AI is very critical to today's economy. So is blockchain, and so are other emerging technologies. So what should we do? So the question is, okay, infrastructure can be built, but the biggest resource we have in Ethiopia, not only in Ethiopia, but on the continent, is our human resource. So how do we build that capital, right? So we have this hypothesis of starting very early, teaching young children, and then beyond teaching is creating collaboration with different stakeholders, and with that synergy, we can build human capital. So, let me give you an introduction about the company I come from. I come from a company called iCog Labs. iCog Labs is an AI and robotics company based in Ethiopia. We do a lot of outsourcing work for companies like Hershey Chocolate, Sony Music, and also our very famous contribution to Sophia the robot, the humanoid robot. Part of her software was built in our lab in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia by Ethiopian developers. So, why am I here? Why am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about education. So, first I want to tell you my story. I was born and raised in the eastern part of Ethiopia. This is the town I was raised in. It's called Harar. It's a very peaceful, very small city. And my father had a shop. Excuse me for the quality of the picture. This is the only good picture I could find. So the story began when I was celebrating my 9th birthday. I asked my father for some money. He was in the shop, but he wouldn't give it to me, so he ignored me. So I figured we had a computer at the shop. So whenever someone bought a phone and they would come out of the shop, I would go and pitch, I can edit your videos. If you have some photos, let me install some apps. Let me install some music on your phone. So I made about $90 that day, right? And then, and then my passion for tech started. I mean, I have tried to do music, I've tried to do sports, I've tried to do a lot of things when I was very young, but then computers stuck with me. But even beyond computers, what stuck with me was my passion for teaching. And after doing business and after getting that $90, I figured, how do I expand my business? Because I was a child of a merchant, right? So we didn't have much, but we had a TV and we had satellite TV. So I watched Power Rangers, right? So after Power Rangers, there would be an ad, a toy ad that would come up, and then they put their website. So I was very curious what that website did. I had dial-up internet, so I figured, okay, in order to expand my business, I need to build a website. But I didn't even host it, but I first learned my first programming languages, Visual Basics, and then HTML. So after that, I started working on my own startups, traveling around the country, trying to sell software, etc. But then I had an aha moment when I first started teaching on a program called Girls Can Code. So Girls Can Code was launched by the US Embassy in Ethiopia, and it involved around 40 girls from 10 public schools. And what I saw was, what I remembered was actually my passion for teaching. So bringing that my passion of teaching and my love for tech, I wanted to do more on tech education. So these are pictures from some of our Girls Can Code program where we teach Scratch, very simple. We have multiple levels where we go from level 0 to AI and machine learning. So that's how iCog Anyone Can Code was born. In partnership with iCog Labs, we teach kids from as young as 8 years old till 18 on the basics of coding and robotics. We also do robo-soccer competitions within universities and a lot of focus on emerging tech. But not only emerging tech and technology, but we involve soft skill trainings and life skill trainings. But the thing is, you can't really address the coding or technology education issue as the same way you could in other countries. Most schools don't have resources. Most parents can't afford to buy laptops for their children. So one of the projects that we're actually launching this year is called the School Bus Project, where we re-innovate the bus, remove the seats out of the bus, we put computers in, we put a center in, and we would go around the country teaching 100 hours of coding. So, but the thing is, okay, we educate, we teach these children, then what? Of course, we don't expect everyone to become computer scientists. When we teach coding, we hope that they could have the skills of analytical thinking, problem solving, and such. But then, when you look into the continent at large, as you can see from the figure, there are only 618 hubs in all of the continent. And especially when you look into Ethiopia, it's limited to 5. And this is only happening in Addis Ababa. So how do we make sure that the students that we teach are enabled? How do we make sure that instead of just looking for jobs, they create jobs themselves? So in Ethiopia, in 15 cities, we have launched a program called Solve It, which is a follow-up from iCog Anyone Can Code, which is about creating local solutions for local innovative problems. We have had a lot of innovations. One of the innovations I've talked about earlier today called Uber for Milk, but I want to tell you another story. So a kid from the rural parts of Ethiopia, in a village, their cattle start dying. So they were curious, and then they opened up one of the cattle and they saw they were eating plastic, right? So what this kid did after the Solvit training and after intensive business trainings and technical trainings, what they were able to do was turn that plastic waste into shoe polish. We import a lot of shoe polish from South Africa and also Kenya, but they were able to find innovative solutions for their local problems. So through Solvit, we go around multiple cities in Ethiopia, not only providing training, but also providing a platform and a media exposure so that their projects are showcased. So then what? Okay, we showcase, we do big events, we do media exposure, but we need to invest, right? We need to invest in these startups, we need to invest in these individuals. So that's where the last piece of the puzzle comes in, which is Solvit Accelerator. As I have mentioned, as you can see, iCode Anyone Can Code tackles the problem within the young generation, which is about education, which inspires and educates people about coding, robotics, and AI. Then we build a foundation with Solvit by creating solutions for local problems. And then we enable them by investing in their dreams and their startups. But if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, it's okay. You can also get a job, right? So we partner with different companies, including ours, to get jobs for these young children and young youth. So this graph I told you about, this is what we're trying to create, a sustainable tech ecosystem where people could thrive. So yeah, I got famous because I started doing all of this. And now we're able to expand our activities in multiple countries. We have been able to partner with companies like MasterCard Foundation and big organizations, the US Embassy, JICA, who are supporting our work. Also, we were able to welcome Jack Dorsey, which came to our office and saw some of the projects that we did on Solvit and iCode Anyone Can Code. Also, Malala, a lot of big people. But my point being, last year in Sweden, we were able to implement a coding program here. I'm very grateful and thankful for my partner, Binet Sek, who was able to make this happen. This was showcasing the value of our human resource on the continent, and if anyone with a computer and internet can do it, everyone can. So we were able to come here and teach children coding, and we plan to expand that more in other countries. Thank you very much. This is Thank You, and I'm Harik, for giving me your time. Thank you.